My name is Ntebogeng Mokgalaka Fleischmann. I'm a professor in environmental chemistry. I'm the director of Mamelodi campus here at the University of Pretoria. I was raised in Mamelodi, so I'm a Mamelodi resident. I was a Mamelodi resident, of course, until life moved me somewhere else. But yeah, I'm a Mamelodi girl through and through. So I was born in Springs. Okay. That's where my mom is from, and so I was born in the East Rand, but then my mom was married in Mamelodi. So I would say when I was a few months old, Okay. So I've lived in Mamelodi for many years. I left Mamelodi when, of course, I went to study. But my parents and my relatives, they continue to live in Mamelodi. So I do have cousins, I do have aunts, uncles, my dad, who all still live in Mamelodi. So I guess, I am still part of Mamelodi. There is no way I could have gotten where I am without being open to learning and to be teachable, And it's a trait of that I think anybody as well who wants to go into leadership, And I always say that leadership is not occupying, these positions of titles. Leadership is you can be a leader in your own space. You can be a leader at school, you can be a leader at church, at home. Also, you yourself, you are your own personal leader. You are a leader of your own destiny, of your own life. So I've always been a person who's open to learning, and for me, learning is not only learning from books. I learn from people, I learn from situations, I learn from life lessons, from my mistakes, and I'm open to learning new things and to be teachable. I'm able to say that, I cannot do this, please show me how. And that's the only way as a person that you can grow. If you open yourself up to learning and to be teachable, and to be teachable by each and every person that comes across you, you'll be surprised how much you can learn, for instance, from a 4-year-old, Yes, and also you'll be surprised what you can learn from an elderly like your grandmother or your grandmother. They hold a wealth of knowledge that you not normally even read in textbooks. And also just the man on the street, Recently I was in Germany, and there was delays in trains and cancellations, so of course I could just sit there and be miserable. But I had to find somebody who can, for instance, teach me to read the timetable, to say, okay, if you are here, you want to go there, maybe this is the best route to go here first and go there. I mean, of course, I could have read the map, but maybe it would have taken me the whole day to figure it out. But, just opening yourself also to say, I don't know, help me, teach me, And that for me, it's having an open mind, and I think if we had people like that who are able to have an open mind like that and allow themselves to be vulnerable, because it also goes with vulnerability. If you can't say, I don't know this, how many people can say, I do not know this, teach me? I think that really the world would be a better place. Again, at various management roles, various valuable lessons, my management role, of course, started as a section head of an acting section head for the Department of Chemistry at Tshwane University of Technology. So there really I learned about coordinating, the different programs, coordinating modules between departments, between faculties, coordinating assessments, just being like the go-to person, for ensuring that the academic project is managed efficiently, intake of students, admission, selection, and all of that. And then my second role in management was as a head of Department of Chemistry, which was one of the biggest departments at Tshwane University of Technology. And from that, really, I think a lot of my lessons, in leadership came from that. But I must also say that I had also to develop myself as a leader. I believe that leaders can be born and leaders can be made. But even born leaders, they can still sharpen and enhance and improve. There's always room for improvement. With that, we always say that departments are the engine of the university. This is where really, you really get your hands dirty. I really learned valuable lessons about leadership. And then from then I occupied the acting assistant dean for teaching and learning. And that prepared me for my next position, which was an executive dean position. And as an executive dean, actually, I always say that as an HOD, it's like you're a mini executive dean, because as the executive dean now, I went from being focused only on the teaching and learning portfolio, but now I had, as an executive dean, I had at the time 15 departments, that were reporting to me, so 15 HODs in various disciplines. So I found myself having to be adaptable, to be agile as well, and also, as a leader, you also have to have that listening ear. You need to listen to your people, and be empathetic. Be kind, be a kind person. And now I'm a director. It's a new position that I started in July. I'm responsible for the Mamelodi campus, for which hosts or houses extended curriculum programs that are offered at Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, and also Faculty of Economics and Management Sciences. And also community engagement, because Mamelodi campus is the social innovation hub of the university, So also ensuring transdisciplinarity. So we are really a hub where, we can be seen as an implementing site for transdisciplinary research, community-based research. Leadership skills and lessons that I've learned as a junior manager across those, now it's more than, almost 10 years now, they've really come in handy, because at each level I was able to learn something new that I can implement at the next level. And even now it's still a learning curve, I cannot say that I've arrived, I know everything, I don't know anything. I take each day as it comes, and so sometimes leadership, of course, challenges you. We work with people, we don't work with robots. People people will always challenge you, situations will always challenge you, but I always say that, if you're kind, to people, they will reciprocate that to you. Look at when I started, even as a student, in class I was the only black female. There were only 2 blacks in a class of about 30, and only 2, just myself as a female, and then another black and male. But as we progressed and as access was opened up to black learners, so we saw more and more black women, pursuing, studies. But when I progressed to postgraduate studies, also I found that I was the only black girl amongst, of course, a cohort of predominantly white students. So it was almost like a natural progression for white students to go into postgraduate studies. So when I graduated with my doctorate, again, I was the only black girl on stage. But now, when you go to graduations, for instance, chemistry, there's a lot, we are producing a lot of black graduates and black female graduates, PhD. But then when you go and look into positions of influence, there is less of us, So again, the question you can ask is, where are the black PhDs in chemistry? And yes, remember, not all of us will go into leadership. And there has to be also some level of preparation and training and for somebody to be saying or to be ready for leadership, you know. So the voice of the women leaders, it's missing. You still go to boardrooms and there are few women managers, few women in executive positions, black women maybe to be in particular. But also that could be a result of if you see other black women who are in executive and senior management positions being chastised, and also maybe their leadership questioned, or even maybe their intellect or whatever being questioned. Of course you're going to ask yourself, you know, should I be going there, you know? So I think I largely attributed to my parents. They've always prioritized and let me and my sister know that, you know, education is important. I grew up in a family where there were books always on the table. My mom studied, by the way, she's a graduate of University of Pretoria.
Ooh, okay.
So we would sit at the table with my mom and we would also study, you know. So I think education has always been important, and my parents, you know, provided that role modeling for me. So it was never difficult for me to know that, you know, education, you know, it's something that is good. And also, like I say, that I really do give credit, much of the credit to them. They've really allowed me to be, you know. I remember when I finished my first degree, you know, if it was other parents, they would say, no, you need to go and work, you know. So after my first degree, I was employed, but soon I realized that I don't want to be doing routine stuff. Now I'm going back to study. And my mom encouraged me, said, no, go, you know. And for me, that has always been knowing that I have parents that were supporting me, that they will always be behind whatever, you know, decisions that I made. And especially when it came to education, I think others we could negotiate. But when it came to education, it was like, no, you need to go where, you know, just, yeah. And I think also, you know, being in a township, you know, I've always wanted better, you know. I've always pushed myself, you know, to be the best that I can be, you know. And I remember even at school, I'm not sure if they still do that, but during our time, you know, you have to be in top 5, you know. Position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we were competing there, and I was competing with boys, and you know. So I think I've always, you know, had the drive to learn, and I think I also have an inquiring mind, and my parents tell me I was a very inquisitive child. I would ask, what is this, what is that, why, you know, are we there yet, what is that, yeah. So I've always been inquisitive, but yeah, really my parents played a very, very significant role in shaping my future and allowing me to, you know, to really follow my dreams in terms of, you know, education and my career. Very supportive.